Hi again. It's Pranav, and I'm gonna be teaching on organ systems. Sorry, and this is like a middle school level biology again. Okay. So, before we start on, we should first remind ourselves like what the function of an organ is. Basically, an organ is a structure within your body that that helps you process food, thoughts, water, a lot of stuff. Now, the organs themselves can't do much, but they need to be together with multiple other organs in order to form a organ system. So, if you remember, like our first episode, we talked about where the organ makes the organ system. So you need multiple organs to make a system. One or two, two or more organs at least. Okay, so let's start with the organ systems. So now, there are about 10 organ systems that we're going to be learning. There might be more, but this is what we're going to be learning. Okay, this is the simple ones. So there are like 10 organ systems that we're going to be learning. There's skeletal system, which is the bones and all that. Muscular system is the muscles. Circular system, which is the blood, heart. Digestive system is where you digest kidney, liver, those stuff. Urinary tract is where genitalia is involved. Private parts, Nervous system is the brain and that. Reproductive health is the private parts again. And the lymphatic system is related to immune system. I think it's related to immune system. I need to do some research on that. We're going to be learning about that later. We're just going to be learning about the ones that I can teach the fastest, because some of them are like a lesson of like their own. Like the circulatory system is also very complicated. The parts and all that, it takes a little time. Even the digestive system, it also takes a little bit more time. And the reproductive system, which is like, it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a little difficult. Next is the endocrine system. I think that it's about like the puberty and all that kind of stuff. That's what it handles. Respiratory system is the breathing and all that, lungs and all that. Okay, so let's start with the skeletal system. So first, the skeletal system is like a system that works as a support structure for your body. It gives it shape, allows movement, makes blood cells, provides protection from organs, and stores minerals. Now, the skeletal system also has another name, which is musculoskeletal system. Now, okay. What I think you should remember is these functions. It supports the body, protects vital organs. Okay, if you're wondering how it protects the vital organs, basically, the skeletal system is like, think of it as a shell. And a snail would be a good example. A snail, it has like a shell. Whenever it's being attacked, it goes back into the shell, and that's somewhat how the skeletal system works. Like, it just protects the body from receiving internal damage, like damage towards the organs, vital organs. The skeletal system is also necessary for movement, because I'll be talking about that in the next page. Okay. The next is that it can store minerals in its bones. It also aids in red blood cell production. I'll be telling about also reason, and it stores chemical. So, within the skeletal system, there's this structure called bone marrow, which is within the bone. So this is where basically a thing called stem cells are like being created. Okay? Now, but the thing is, the stem cell creation is going to be slowed down as you age up, so it's going to be a bit bad. The reason is, stem cells are actually very useful. Think of it as like a good example would be if you people know like Pokemon, there's this Pokemon called Ditto. Let me show you a picture. This is what Ditto looks like. Now it has this ability called Transform. So when you use the Transform, and based on the opponent you're fighting, it transforms to that. Now the point is that the stem cell essentially can transform to red blood cell, platelets, white blood cells, um, all sorts of cells. It has the ability to transform freely, but then it cannot change when it's transformed. Okay? That's what I think. Okay, now yeah, here's the other system that's important in like our movement. So basically, the muscular system is something that works along with the skeletal system to help us move. Because if all we have is bones, then our movements are going to be more of like a robot. Now the muscles, what they do is they help us become more flexible. They help us bend our fingers, twist our neck, all sorts of movements. The muscular system basically enhances like your ability to, you know, your flexibility essentially. The muscular system also helps like circulate blood, move food through the digestive system. So I'm just gonna give like okay. Now what this means is that the muscular system, when you swallow the food, goes through this tract, the food tract, right? The muscular system basically aids the the food by, I'm not sure how it really works, but okay, I'm not gonna tell about that yet. Okay, sorry. Um. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one is the nervous system. About like that food part, I'm gonna be talking about that next time because it's a bit more complicated. It's like a big process. So let's go to the next one. So this is the nervous system. The nervous system is basically like your brain. Now, like in our previous lessons, we learned about this organ now within a cell called a nucleus, and we know that it's basically a headquarter. It's a command center, right? Now, similarly, our brain is also a command center. Okay? Basically, it controls your movement, thoughts, automatic responses to the world around you, basically reflexes. Like, you hear this noise, oh, there's something there, like that. Like, you hear this gunshot, like, oh god, there's some guy shooting there, The response is determined by your brain. Okay? So it basically controls your reflexes and all that. It also controls all your body systems, processes such as digestion, breathing, and sexual development. That's like puberty. That's another term. Okay, now the thing you should know is that when we sleep, right, we actually turn down like most of the organ systems, but there's one that is still working, and that is the nervous system. Our nervous system is online no matter what. It's 24/7 online. Yes. Which is why it's like the most busiest, system. And please treat it with care, as it has treated with care. Okay. Now, some of you might be curious about the parts of like the brain, and like you might have heard like, oh, this part of your brain like manages your creativity, memories, and all that. So here's to those that were thinking about that. Okay, so now I can see it. So this part of the brain is called the frontal lobe. It's basically the brain that's like the closest towards your forehead. Okay, just think of this as like okay, imagine like okay, this side is basically the face. The nose and eyes are all on this side. Okay, so just remember that the forehead is right here. This is the back side, and this brainstem is basically connecting to your spinal cord. Okay, so is the frontal lobe. Basically, this part of your brain is the the functions of it is like problem solving, emotional traits, judgment, speaking, voluntary motor activity, and at the back of your forehead, like top of your forehead, no, not like at the back of your head, like at the top, is the parental lobe. Basically, this is like the brain that handles with like knowing like right from left. Nothing basically um, helps us recognize like which direction is right or left. Okay, and also senses, reading, and body orientation. I think this basically like handles like most of your senses. Um, yeah, not most, but a lot of them. And then at the bottom back of your head is the occipital lobe, which is like managing your vision and your color perception. Yeah, more senses. And at the most bottom of your brain is the cerebellum, which manages like balance, coordination, control, and like muscle control. And like below the frontal lobe, parental lobe, and above the cerebellum, and like to the left of the occipital lobe lies the temporal lobe. Now, this section of the brain controls an understanding of languages, behavior, memory, and hearing. And for the last, the gray structure here, the brainstem, controls breathing, body temperature, digestion, alertness, sleep, swallowing. Okay. Yeah, just know a few of these for the questions I'm going to be giving. You don't have to memorize this. This is pointless information, but it can be useful, I guess. I mean, it is actually useful because like there's some neurodegenerative disorders like Alzheimer's, and I think by studying these like the sections of the brain, it can possibly like help us in performing like surgeries or some kind of aid. Because as you can see, the temporal lobe here, the function is the memory, right? So we can assume that a person with Alzheimer's would have some kind of issue in this section of the brain. It could be more, but it is kind of useful in a sense. So just if you're trying to become a doctor, I think it's better to memorize this if you're trying to become a doctor. I think that's it. Thank you for listening. I'm gonna turn this off.